Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hilliard, who is in Des Moines, Iowa, for us this morning. And Vaughn is hearing from voters there, Joe.
Yeah, Vaughn, we're fascinated. We're showing polls this morning that show people listen to Donald Trump and believe Donald Trump more than they believe their religious leaders, more than they believe their family members, more than they believe their friends, more than they believe conservative media figures. It is a well, you could call it a club or you could call it a cult. We're sort of bouncing around. We're not qualified to figure out exactly what you call it. But whatever it is, those are some striking numbers. I'm wondering what you're hearing on the ground in Iowa from Republicans and just the level of support for Donald Trump, and more importantly, why they're sticking with him through porn star convictions, through charges of sexual assault, and a judge saying he's raped this woman, stealing nuclear secrets. I could go on, but you get the point. So why do they stay so committed to him?
Right. There's two ways, guys, in these months ahead that we can look at the Iowa caucus. That is, one, through the polling of Ann Seltzer, and number two, anecdotally, in those conversations with the voters that provide some light into some of these data points here. And when you look at the data side, where we are glad at NBC to be teamed up with Ann Seltzer, because for years now we have looked to her numbers as really the gold standard, numbers that provide credence to some of the conversations that we have had on the ground here. You see Donald Trump's sturdy support. 2/3 of his supporters say that they are firmly behind him and will caucus for him. Compare that to Ron DeSantis. Just 1/3 of his supporters in this poll said that they will absolutely caucus for him next year. And that opens up part of the conversation that we had with a couple of the voters yesterday in terms of who is the alternative to Donald Trump. Take a listen to the conversation we had with 4 voters who actually participated in Ann's poll. We talked to them. 2 Trump supporters, 2 that are looking elsewhere. Take a listen. Do any of you think that somebody not named Donald Trump has a chance to win the Iowa caucus this next year?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Personally, I think that a lot of people that are in my shoes that want someone other than Donald Trump aren't as vocal as the Donald Trump supporters. And so I think when it comes time to go in there and actually vote, I think then we'll see what really is going on.
It's a possibility that remains, but it seems to be diminishing.
I think he has an excellent chance of winning in the general election. I think there will be a lot of support. I'm around a lot of people that are Trump supporters.
Why do you think he has held on to such a seemingly tight grip among the Republican electorate?
I think there's still so much anger at the process in the sense of what has happened in the political arena. And I think he draws on that.
Again, all 4 of those individuals that you just heard from, who we talked with yesterday afternoon, were actual participants in the poll. And Deb from Council Bluffs, the last woman you heard from, is quite reflective of the sturdy support for Donald Trump that you have seen, especially in national polling. But here in Iowa, it's just a 23-point. It's a sizable lead. But as Ann laid out there are folks like Jody, like Dennis, who are looking for an alternative. And when we asked those anti-Trump Republicans that you heard from, Dennis and Jody, who they were considering, they said any other Republican they'd vote for in the general election. They said they're considering DeSantis, considering Tim Scott, considering Chris Christie. But right now, they said their decision in the months ahead will come down largely to viability. As Ann laid out there are still several of these candidates that are in the running, actively being considered here. But right now, Donald Trump is looking like he has the likes of those Bob and Deb, who are very much here in his corner. And now these other Iowa Republicans are seeing who in these months ahead would be worthy of their vote and may have the best opportunity to upset him here in the state of Iowa just less than 5 months from now.
I thought there were a couple of fascinating things there. Deb was the last one who responded, right? The support of Donald Trump? Yeah, so many people that support Donald Trump, it seems, and I'm just, I got my friends and family members it's not really about Donald Trump so much as it is he's against the people that they feel have always looked down on them, and the people who they feel hate them hate Donald Trump. And so there's that connection. It's sort of an us against them thing, and it certainly seems that played out there too. One other fascinating thing, your first respondent, who was not the woman who was not voting for Donald Trump,
Jody.
I wonder if in the Republican Party this year we're going to have the reverse Bradley effect, because Mika and I always found whenever we were in large groups in 2016 would say, how many of you are voting for Donald Trump? 1 out of 1,000 people would raise their hand. And then as we left, they would all whisper, as we left, shaking hands, I'm voting for Trump, I'm voting for Trump, I'm voting for Trump. It's so interesting now. It seems the peer pressure goes the other way if you're around Republican friends. Are you really going to be the one to say, yeah, I know liberals hate him, and I know MSNBC hates him, and I know the New York Times editorial page hates him, but I'm not voting for him anyway, right? So now, do we have, and it's the first time I've thought about it, listening to your interview, is there the possibility of a reverse Bradley effect where people are afraid to admit to their friends they've just had enough of Donald Trump?
Joe, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I think Jody is a particularly interesting human being in this. She goes, I've never been on camera. She was openly very nervous about sitting down with us, let alone she had conversations with the two ardent Trump supporters, Bob and Deb, sitting next to her before our cameras even turned on. And Jody said that she felt like she was making herself very vulnerable, because there is an acknowledgement that there is such steady Trump support and such passionate Trump support, right? You don't see, you guys were mentioning flags waving. In neighborhoods around here in Iowa, you see Trump flags hanging. You don't see anybody else hanging the flag of a Nikki Haley around here. But Jody went and she said that she wanted to go on camera to at least make herself open up and begin to have part of the conversation that there are alternatives to Trump out there. And I think that your point is a good one, because here in Iowa, when you go to the caucus, you got to stand in your precinct, in your neighborhood, in front of your family, in front of your friends, in front of the folks at church, and you got to say, I'm supporting somebody who is not Donald Trump. And one other point, a new law was passed here in Iowa just this year. Usually, Democrats, independents, they could show up on caucus day and change their party affiliation and participate in the Republican caucus. The new law here allows the Republican Party to require folks to have registered as a Republican weeks in advance here. And so it's going to be folks like Jody and like Dennis that they're going to be out there. They're going to be the Republicans saying we need to take the Republican Party in a new direction if truly Donald Trump is to be pushed off his post here in the state.